guys, 828 Fine Adventure. Today we're talking about the Westcott preload collar lift kit that I put on the 25 Toyota 4Runner, and I'm soon going to install it. I'm pretty positive, about 99% sure, on our 25 Tacoma as well. I really like the ride quality. I really like the quality of the preload collars that it comes with. The customer service is great, and let me talk to you about it and tell you what I think, and see if this will be useful to you, and you know, and if it's something that you could live with, or if you need something, depending on where you live and what you do, if you need something a little more rugged. But for me, this works, so let's talk about it. Okay, so first off, let me explain what a preload collar does. It eliminates the need for a spacer at the top that pushes all your suspension down. It goes underneath the spring as a preload collar. So you would remove the spring, put this collar on, place the spring back on top. So it goes basically in the middle of the shock, not at the top. And a lot of those top spacers, they are sometimes painted or powder coated or whatever. You need to be careful because those will rust. So you want to always check it and make sure and hit it with some Rust-Oleum or whatever. But the great thing that I love about the Westcott preload collar is it's CNC machined, anodized black aluminum, no rust. It's going to outlive the shocks, definitely, on the car. I know I'm going to say this a couple of times, but just to let you know again, the Westcott preload collar lift for the 25 Tacoma and 25 4Runner give you 2.5 inches in the front, and I think I'm correct for the Tacoma, but I know the 4Runner is 3/4 inches or 0.75 inches in the rear. So, and it'll level it out. My kit came with everything. It had the preload collars. It had looked like a top hat brace or thing that goes on top of the strut after it's completely assembled before you bolt it in. And then for the rear, it had a puck that went on top of the spring. It was kind of a big aluminum CNC thing that went on top of the spring in the rear of the 4Runner. So, and I know I'm going to repeat myself on this. You have to remember, this isn't something you can really do at home unless you're a mechanic or have the correct tools for safety to do this. You do have to remove the front struts and disassemble them, which means you're going to need to compress the spring, and that's very dangerous. So, unless you've done it as a mechanic as your job before, I really wouldn't take that on. And you just want to make sure you're educated in torque specs and all of those things on getting this back together. Again, brand new vehicle, 2,000 miles, maybe less. I had this professionally installed at my Toyota dealer. The reason, warranty, and it was a new vehicle. If they screw it up, they'll cover it. Okay, so anyways, that's the assembly part. I hate saying that I didn't do it myself because I know I have the hands to do it. It's just I didn't feel comfortable doing it because it was a brand new vehicle, and the stress level, honestly, doing something like this on a new vehicle really raises the stress level to like a 9 out of 10. So I choose to just pay somebody else to do it who's done it before and is comfortable doing those things. That's why I'm not a mechanic. Also, make sure after the installation, whoever does it, they have a good alignment rack to do an alignment on the vehicle. You absolutely have to get an alignment, or you'll chew up your tires. And if you have new tires like I did, you don't want that to happen. Tires are too expensive. So what stands out to me the most about this Westcott lift is the ride quality. I noticed that as soon as I had it installed, I couldn't really tell the difference between the OEM with no collars and having the collars installed. It's the same ride, same handling. Of course, the nose of the truck is up. The back's up just a little. You don't have that nose dive when you're braking. I really like that. And you don't have that rake that all the 4Runners have now. So, of course, that just makes it harder when you're braking. It just makes it harder when you're braking. It just nose dives. Got rid of that. Love it. That's exactly what I wanted. I had the same problem on the Tundra. So, with all that said and done and everything getting installed, it lined up fine. You did not need to get upper control arms. They say you can fit up to 35-inch tires with everything stock, which is great. That's a big, heavy tire, and it might drag on the performance and gas mileage, but it will. But 35s look good on anything. So I've taken this on some washboard roads and over different things, and I haven't noticed any difference. So, except for the clearance, I've got more clearance. Now I don't go rock crawling. I haven't gone over any big rocks or creek crossings or anything like that. But for everyday soft roading and stuff like that, I got the clearance I needed and the ride quality I wanted, because I wanted this to still have a good highway feel, because the next 4 years I'm going to be doing the next 4 years I'm going to be doing a lot of highway driving. But I do like to have the capability. I like the height. I can go out on the beach. I can air down and go drive in the sand. I can, go to a campsite, do some creek crossings. I might have to check them out first with a stick to make sure there's no big holes or stuff. But other than that, I love what this is given me. I love the ride quality. So, let me move back a little bit so you don't have to look at my mug so close up. So, anyways, I wanted to share that. Now, some people say that there's a stiffness to the ride. I have 17-inch wheels with a 70 sidewall. There's no harshness. If you have 20-inch wheels with a little short sidewall, yeah, you're going to feel harshness, even when it was OE. And that's why they put those little soft tires on it from the factory. But if you change out those tires to anything else on the 20-inch, you're going to get a rough ride. When you're running 17s, you get a plush ride no matter what. Even with all terrains, even with E-rated tires with 10 ply sidewalls, you've got such a sidewall there. You get a lot of cushion, so it's really nice. I recommend 17s for anybody. So, at least a 70 sidewall. You can go 75 if you want and gain an inch of height, but I went with the 70s. So, anyways, no harsh ride, not at all. I don't notice it. It's no different than when it has those little soft tires on it, and from the factory, which are last about 12 to 18 months. So but they get you good gas mileage and they're really quiet. So, let's move on here. With this preload collar lift, you get 2.5 inches front lift. You get 0.75 or 3/4 inches in the rear. It levels it out, and you can get bigger tires. Now I had these tires, which are 275 7017. I had these mounted on here before I had the collar lift. I had no rubbing. Everything was fine. I'm not sure about 285s with no lift. I've heard that there's no rub, but I'm not sure. These wheels are a plus 25 offset. So the wheel is out towards the edge of the fender more than the factory wheel, which is a plus 55, which is inside the wheel tub, kind of pushed in towards the frame. I've got this same size tire on factory wheels on the Tacoma. No rub on it either with the plus 55 wheels. It's fine. So what this lift does, though, being 2.5 front, it does give you more room. So I think 35s would fit just fine. You might have to remove the crash plate that's in the back here in the back side of the wheel tub. That's what I've heard. I haven't done it or looked into it. A lot of it could be tire design. Real knobby mud type tires with different designs have things that kind of stick out further and they rub on stuff. I had that problem with the Tundra. But other than that, having 2.5 inches of lift in the front, raising it up, and leveling off this truck, you can get a bigger tire comfortably with no worries. And like I said, the whole point here for me was to get some lift and to level it off so I didn't have that drastic nosedive and that weird rake. So it is higher. Yeah, if you're height challenged, it's going to be hard to get in and out. But other than that, it's it's fine. That's what side steps are for, and you can add those pretty cheap. And I've got some. Mine don't sit real low, but I've got some. And so, with the lift, it does give you that extra clearance. So if you do some soft roading or off roading, or even off roading, this suspension's going to do fine. You could spend $3, $4, $5,000 plus install on a expensive off-road suspension. But you have to, if this is your daily driver, how much time are you really spending off-road where you will utilize a suspension like that? So $5,000 for 3 times a year, I can get a Westcott lift and I can raise it up. I can get the ground clearance. I can put some skid plates, maybe less than $1,000, maybe half of that, maybe $500 for some skid plates, or make some, and then you can do a lot of that stuff. Things when your vehicle's lower, you need to protect. So skid plates are a plus. You need to do those, but this collar lift gives you ground clearance. You can go on trails where you might have dragged before on rocks, and you don't want to do that because there's all kinds of plastic, electronic stuff under the vehicles now on the transmissions and transfer case. So, you don't want to do that. So the extra clearance helps. But there's no reason why you couldn't take a vehicle lifted with the Westcott preload collar off-road and do some major stuff. You've got the ground clearance now, so try it out. Now, some of those off-road suspensions that are $3,000 to $5,000 give you a real plush ride when you adjust them. They might absorb washboard better, so you can do 40 miles an hour over the washboard instead of 20. I had no problem doing 20 miles an hour over severe washboard on a dirt road. You feel it, but it's not like not having a suspension. And these tires, like I said, with the sidewall, that absorbs a lot. How often are you going to do that? Do I need to spend that money? Well, that's going to be up to you. They sure do look cool when they're all anodized blue or red or different colors. They look cool. Now, I got my Westcott. It comes in 2 colors. You can get it silver, which is natural, and that'll really pop and show up in the front. That's the only place you'll see it when you turn the wheel, or black. Now, I did it in black to kind of keep it all OE and hidden. You can't see the rear pucks. You can only see the front when the wheels are turned. Just to throw that in there. So let me just throw in some pointers here. Let's just rehash a few things I just want to go over. So this maintains factory ride quality, no problem. Levels out the truck, lifts the front so you don't get that nosedive when braking. No need for upper control arms. That'll save you $1,000 right there. And this all aligns up perfect, so you have no problem. You can also get upwards of 35-inch tires. You might have to do, like I said, remove the crash plate behind the on the wheel tub here, but from what I've heard, and 35s will fit, but you always want to do a test fit of whatever tire when you go up that high to make sure it does fit, because different tire designs are their measurements are a little wonky. Made in USA. That's very important. So support this company. Now, the cons. Well, there's not many, except you do have to remove the front struts. It's very dangerous. You have to take them apart if you're going to use your OE shocks. Very dangerous. I don't recommend doing that at home. I always get a professional installer to do my front ones. And in the back of these too, with the springs, I had somebody do that too, because I was not familiar with this. It's not like installing some lift blocks on a solid axle of a old Tacoma or something. This is different. Coil springs all the way around, but the front are struts. So you're going to need to compress that strut to disassemble that. That's when people get killed. Have a professional do it. All right, folks. I hope you liked the video about the Westcott 2.5-inch front preload collar lift, and the 0.75 or 3/4 inch rear on the 25 4Runner. Would I do this again? Yes. It is cost effective, and for what I do with my truck, it is perfect and very functional. If I was doing 80 miles an hour on dirt roads out west that were washboard or whatever, I might want to spend $3,000 to $5,000 on a new suspension. You know, so I would definitely do this lift again. It works perfect for me. It makes the truck look good, eliminates the nosedive and that crazy rake. Does great. I can do 20 mile an hour on washboard. It's fine. It drives smooth. Will I go up to 35-inch tires? Maybe one day. We'll see. We'll see. As for right now, with the OE shocks, it rides great. Now, OE shocks don't last that long, so when you get upwards of 100,000 miles, you're going to need to replace your OE shocks. It'd be a great time to upgrade to some Bilsteins or something like that. But other than that, I'm getting great ride quality out of these. And this lift, this is just a preload collar. It's a anodized aluminum, and it's going to last forever. It'll outlast the shocks for sure, and it won't rust because it's aluminum. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will get right back to you. If you would, please subscribe so you can see more videos and updates on this truck and all the mods I do to it, including the Tacoma, and some of those go back and forth. Some things I have on the Tacoma will work on the 4Runner, but I only have them on the Tacoma, and vice versa for the 4Runner. So, please subscribe, please like, share it. If you have a friend who's interested in the Westcott, look at my footage. It's real time, just me driving, and I videoed the suspension underneath as it's working. So around town, this is an awesome vehicle. I do a lot of city driving. It does great. Drives great on the highway, very smooth. Like I said, it lined up well. Very happy with it. I've had it in all conditions right now, different weather, things like that. I have not got it on the snow yet, but I will. Sure, it'll be fine. These tires are great. Might need the clearance if we get a deep snow so I don't get high centered. It's going to have to be pretty deep though. But that's all I got for you. Again, comment below and check out my links. I've got a lot of links below in the description below the video, and they'll take you to Westcott and whatever else I have on this truck. And I will see you next time. See ya.
Jack it up.